Hello there and welcome to my little art room. I'm Sam and today I'm hoping to just do a little chatty video where I make my current project, which is making refillable sketchbooks for my shop. So I'm going to work on one and also maybe do some sketchbooking for the little piece of original art I want to put in it, because I had one already but I accidentally damaged it. So I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do now. But yes, I'm still struggling a little bit to edit videos much because I am still recovering from vertigo. I'm feeling a lot better, but I still struggle particularly with like a lot of visual stimulation, like lights, stuff going on, like having to focus on the screen when I'm doing the editing. And I still actually can't read very much. I can't read a book. I can for a little bit, but I start feeling like I'm sort of in the car trying to read and I'm getting motion sickness or something. So yeah, but I'm trying to be patient because it can take a while for vertigo to fully go away. And also I've had some other stuff going on. So yeah, I'm just going to talk work and hopefully not have to edit this very much. Ideally I would literally just upload this one clip, but goodness knows if I'll manage that. But yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on the time because if you know me, I really ramble on. So it's 2:20 now. I'm going to try and not talk for England. But yes, this was the little piece. I've already kind of put it back on the wall, but this was the little piece I was going to use, but it was already on a really small piece of card and I was trying to neaten it up and I accidentally went like this across it, and it's too delicate to really put on something else and it to look alright. So I'm going to save it and just keep it back because I actually do really like this little collage, so I can just keep it for myself and make something else. But because I'm kind of on the frog mindset now, I think I will do it frog themed. Actually, generally I draw humans the most, people, and do things in kind of a sci-fi realm is usually my kind of thing, and things on themes like mental health are kind of my main thing, and I make comics. So this is kind of quite a different creative challenge for me, and it kind of allows me to draw other things than what I would normally make. So yeah, I'm gonna use this guide and hopefully plan out the cover because I really like this colour. I feel like this would be really nice for the frog themed thing. At least now when I do the frog I can really match it to this colour because yeah, I can kind of use that colour as a base, whereas I'd already made that collage like years ago. I'm still I'm still struggling a bit. Yeah, sometimes I have to go like this. It's because I can't, I get tired keeping my head up for ages. But yeah, so actually this has been really well timed as a project because it's not as visually demanding, so it's actually been quite good to have this to do while I'm still recovering. But yeah, and because I went to the doctors about my vertigo in the end because I was really ill with it and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know it was vertigo at the time, and then she said that and I was like, whoa. Didn't think it was that. If you don't know, vertigo is like, it's often caused by an issue in your ears. I think mine is because I've had sinus issues in the past and ear issues, and basically like the very delicate waters in your ears get unbalanced, so you start walking around as if like you have no balance, so you feel really dizzy, really like all over the place, kind of like you're walking on a ship or something. And I get really bad motion sickness, so I'm alright in cars now, usually, but I am really bad on boats, or I even have been bad on planes as well. But yeah, so imagine how it's felt. It's not been very fun, but I'm lucky because, like, you know, I managed to get help and all that jazz. But yeah, I was also, because of that, I was tested for other stuff. and it turns out that I have a really severe, like pretty severe vitamin D deficiency, which I was really thinking it was going to be anemia or something like that, because I basically told them about various other things like fatigue and stuff going on. And yeah, I was, there's quite a lot of things that the symptoms I had could have been. So even though I didn't want to like say, oh yeah, I know what it is, I was like, it's probably something like anemia, like I bet it is. Because my mum has had anemia as well, and she was comparing to it, and she was like, yeah, but it turned out I was tested for various things, so like my thyroid function is normal, my kidney function is normal, a lot of my vitamins are fine, absolutely fine. My iron is slightly low, but nothing like, disastrous, but my vitamin D is really low. So I'm on I have to take intense vitamin D supplements for 5 weeks, and then take vitamin D forevermore at a normal, a more regular amount. And yeah, it doesn't. I was really surprised that was the answer, because I was like, I can't believe vitamin D could cause these things. Like, she did say to me, she was like, vitamin D can cause, we don't fully even know like what vitamin D can cause. She was like, it's a really odd one, like it can cause really strange symptoms, and we don't always know like whether that's the vitamin D or what it's correlating to. So she said, like, don't quote me on what all these things could be, but she was like, the really common ones are fatigue, like and muscle aches and bone aches and low mood as well. And that made a lot of sense in the end, because one of the things, like I said to my parents a few times recently, was like, when I've been sat at my desk here, like I can often get through like a whole day, like quite a long day, without feeling really like achy or in pain. But recently it's been like, even just after a couple of hours or something, my neck and my, particularly like my upper back, like my shoulders, would be really aching, really hurting. And I hadn't really ever noticed that before, like, and I thought it was my chair or something. So that was really, like, when she said that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And also like the fatigue, I feel like I noticed more because I was like, because I'm like naturally quite a sleepy person, I feel like I don't always notice what is unusual levels of fatigue, but like my mum did say to me that she feels recently I've been like particularly tired, like particularly struggling to do things. And like the motivation one made a lot of sense as well, because, and actually that was more what someone said online, that they really lacked motivation when they were low in vitamin D. But that makes a lot of sense, because I've struggled to do like, I've really been struggling to even like make food, or I've exercised a lot less, which probably has contributed to my ever so slight high cholesterol, because I've apparently also got a tiny bit of high cholesterol, but nothing that's scary. But yeah, I think a lot of that is probably to do with stress, and that I haven't exercised as much over the past few months, because like I say, I've just felt so unmotivated to do anything. And it's been the first time, like, in ever really, I've, over the past few months, I genuinely had moments where I really questioned whether I wanted to do this work anymore. Like, not necessarily giving up being an artist completely, but like whether I wanted to do this as a job, or like pursue this as my thing, because I just have felt so like lost with it recently. And I thought I was just stressed, or like I maybe was hitting a point, like I'm at the sort of near the 3-year point of starting my shop and stuff, and it's still really hard, and I thought maybe it's just that, but no, I think it was also the brain chemistry at play. And I think because I've not been used to that kind of low mood, like I've had a lot of low mood in the past, but it just was of a kind of different flavour almost. I didn't really recognise it as low mood, so it's really interesting. But yeah, anyone listening to this, if you relate or anything, please always go to your doctor. Don't take me as gospel truth on this. I didn't think it was that, and it can be lots of other things. But it just shows that if you've got access to doctor's appointments, and you can ask like, don't be afraid to ask if something's wrong, because I think I didn't really think something was that wrong, but then going in for the vertigo kind of made me mention things that probably have been a bit wrong, but I maybe was just carrying on like, oh, it's fine, I feel a bit tired, that's normal for me, I'm just overdoing it, I'm just too tired. And then, like, you know, it's not that long since I took time off because I was burnt out, and maybe because I thought I was heading towards autistic burnout, and maybe all that was to do with this as well. You just don't know. I feel like this could have been like contributing to my health for a long time. Just get this paper, because here I am, I do a nice book cover and I'm like shoving the nice lovely paper on all my dirty horrible glue thing, covered in glue that's going everywhere. So don't want to put too much glue on because that's what I did one time. Okay, it's already been 10 minutes. Shut up. Not even got on to like a topic yet. I've just been talking about myself and my vitamin D situation. But also the reason I reckon I am vitamin D deficient is, well, for one, I live in the north, and it's miserable and rainy here, you know, 300 days out of the year. But also I don't go outside very much, and it hasn't helped that, like, obviously my motivation's been lower, but I've actually, when I had the vertigo, like, I really got into a good habit of going for walks, because it really helped to steady me, and it still helps a lot. And I've realised how much I really like going out for a walk every day if I can. But it's even like already this week the weather's horrendous. I think I'm going to go tomorrow. But like today it's just not stopped raining. And it is just hard. It's hard. Like, but yeah, my doctor was like, just take a supplement like every day. Don't worry. She was like, at least you're reducing your skin cancer risk. She was like, I'm not saying you should go out and burn in the sun. She was like, we probably just need a supplement, like, I take a supplement as well, you know, so, but it just did make me think that I think probably part of the reason it's got to that level is because I'm indoors quite a lot, and I like being out in nature, so it's a win-win if it continues to boost my vitamin D recovery. But yeah, it's somewhat the homebody life, isn't it? And I was thinking about all kinds of things, and I was going down all kinds of thought rabbit holes, but I think I thought I'd talk about, already 10 minutes in, just about like homebody life, I guess, because I was thinking about, like, you know, it's a really interesting thing, like, being more of a homebody. There's so many of us out there, I reckon, and I think it's an interesting thing because there's people who I think kind of, like, you know, if you kind of think what is a homebody, like somebody who really likes being at home, but I think it also kind of means like people who like stuff that is not, you don't necessarily need to be out and with other people and doing all kinds of things, but you love crafting and reading, and, you know, I love watching TV, but, you know, reading comics, making comics in my case, drawing, knitting, crocheting, all these kind of like activities that you can do alone or with other people, but that you can do from home. Gardening, you know, a lot of these things are like my favourite kinds of things. Even when I see my friends, honestly, I much prefer seeing a couple of friends in someone's house. You know, that is mainly the kind of social interaction that I engage with. Because that's what I love to do. And I feel more comfortable doing stuff like that. And I think sometimes people almost think that being a homebody is like not fully living, and I've always hated that, sorry, I don't always like to use the word hate, but I've always really disliked that way of thinking, that like life is one thing that somebody gets to decide, and what is valuable in life is something someone has decided. Well, no, like, it's all perspective and how you want to view life and how you want to go about life. It's not for anyone to decide. As long as we're not harming people, you know, that can go the other way, I know. But I'm just saying in general, like, you know, judging other people's lives, you can't live like this. But then at the same time, I'm not saying, I don't know, I want to call out people who are like living really selfishly as well, you know. But I think in that sense of like, you're just bumbling about, going on about your own business, and you're not being really selfish or whatever, but still people are still all like hurting you, but people are still trying to tell you that they don't like that or whatever. I don't get why they're bothered. But I also think it kind of links to like, because you know, you think a lot of people, they aren't homebodies by choice, you know, partly. Like, you can become a homebody because you're very ill, or you're disabled, or, you know, anything like that, really. And arguably part of the reason I'm a homebody is because I'm autistic, and the outside world is really stressful, and I don't like a lot of it. And why I would choose nature over a lot of, like, you know, why I choose to live in the countryside rather than living in the city. Oh, the city. Goodness me. I'm talking about the city like I'm in like a children's book or something. We go to the city. Like, I live really near Manchester and I hardly ever go there. And Manchester isn't like, it's quite an alright city. You know, it's okay. But yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, sorry, what was I saying? People don't choose necessarily to be homebodies. And I think, you know, again, it's like people act like people have like lesser lives. And it's like, why? Like, people are carving out their own lives because of their own situations. And often it's not their choice that things are way harder for them if they're not at home all the time. Or that, you know, for example, they are so fatigued that they can't, you know, they have to have so much rest. They can't physically be outside that long a period of time. And I think I'm mentioning this just to say that whether it's by choice or by not, or it's a mix of the two, you know, which it generally will be, some level of a mix of the two, like, it's not right to say that being at home is some kind of, like a lot of the time, is some kind of lesser life or lesser existence, because, like, what is so wrong about enjoying things that involve being at home, that are quiet and simple? And, you know, a lot of people enjoy these things, but they're not necessarily, you know, they're not necessarily so much that they would consider themselves homebodies. But yeah, I think people have this concept of, like, you know, life is for adventuring, and sorry, is that making a funny noise? But it's like, you can still love adventure and be a homebody, you know? You can still have so much of a interesting, you know, life. You can have a fascinating, wonderful life and live at home, be at home a lot. I feel like I have grown to appreciate so much of the small things. And I just, sometimes when I'm reading a good book or I'm watching something and I'm like, I get to enjoy this. It's like with having this vertigo, like, I was like, even just watching my TV shows for a while, I couldn't enjoy it. Like, you end up appreciating that even just the little things, like, they're not guaranteed. They are not guaranteed. Like, I always just think, I feel grateful to be here and to have a home that I feel so comfortable in and happy in, that I, you know, want to be here. People work so hard to afford where they live and to one day afford a house, and then we're judged for wanting to be in it. I mean, and, like, I'm not saying community doesn't matter, but, like, community, you can still be part of community and be very introverted. Although I do think there are barriers to community for introverts, but like, it's like online community. That's another thing that people often see as, like, lesser or not real or whatever. And I'm like, how is it not real? Like, I know you can have trolls or, like, bots or people that aren't really whatever. But like, and you've got to be careful, of course you've got to be careful, but you've got to be careful in real life as well. Like, people can be awful in real life and harder to shake off sometimes than than an online person. But like, online community matters too. Like, when I post on here, often the same people come up, they wish me well, they chat with me, people update me on their art projects and what's going on, and I don't know, I feel like that's a community. It's a community that's encouraged me, that's moved me forward. We offer something to each other, we support each other. That is a community, you know, and that is being in community, even if we're physically not with each other. You know, community doesn't have to be bounded by just where you live, or just by in-person meeting. You know, it can expand beyond that wherever you want it to. It can transcend those boundaries, alright? Using a lot of big words just to make myself sound really correct. But no, yeah, do you get what I'm on about? I don't know what I'm on about. This is why this was so, like, off the cuff, really. Like, I often think, should I do off the cuff, or do I just end up really going all over the place? But, yeah, I just thought it'd be nice to have a chat. I think it's already been 20 minutes. Let me look. Yeah, it's been 20 minutes. But yeah, I think, what am I saying? Goodness knows, really. But I think I was just thinking about, like, I often think about this, that the homebody life. Like, whether you want to be a homebody, or whether that has been what your life has kind of ended up being, or a mix of whatever. Life looks very different for everyone, and it's not for anyone to say. I don't know, like, I often get comments of, like, you should be doing this, and you need to do this more in life, and this is what life's about. And I do think, really, we're all shaped by our own perspectives and what we have learnt in life by various things. If you look back on my videos, you can see a lot about my history with mental health. Over 10 years I was really, really suffering. I call it that now, whereas back then I wouldn't have said it was that. I wouldn't have thought it was all that, but it was. Like, it was really horrible, really hard. And I just got used to it being my way of life, really. And I couldn't really see much beyond it. So often I'm kind of just happy to still be bumbling on, when I'm not being dragged down by my vitamin D deficiency. But I often, yeah, I think I don't know, I feel really grateful to be here and to keep trying, you know, as a person, to do better and to understand more. And I believe you can do a lot of that as an introvert from home. You can still reach people, you can still connect with people. You can still make a change in the world, I hope. And that is not, it's not some kind of thing that is only reserved for the extroverted and the it's very bright, sorry everyone, you know, that only the extroverted and very physically healthy and you know, loud and you know, the loud people get to do. It's something that anyone can do, but maybe we just do it in a different way, and our lives are not, you know, small and insignificant. I don't know. I look at the way the world is, like, so much awful stuff, and there's people who just want to totally ignore that. And I feel lucky to have the simple things, and I think that doesn't mean you can't, I don't know, it doesn't mean you can't be in a bad situation and say you need help. I think that's always what I advocate for. A lot of my work's about mental health and how we should talk more about what we're dealing with and deal with things. I think I'm just saying, like, the person who goes on people's videos and comments, you should grow up and you should do this, and life is about travelling around Australia and doing this, and why aren't teenagers partying anymore? Like, I don't know, maybe they don't want to be drunk all the time, and like, maybe not all the, maybe teenagers don't like that stuff anymore. And they're tired and scared, and the future is scary, and they don't know what to do, and their future looks really hard, and they don't want to get sick. You know, there's all kinds of things. You don't want to go into these germ and infested clubs. I don't know, you know. Anyway. What point am I making? That's why I said, please do not see this as one of my kind of profound point videos, because it isn't. This is a very random video. I think it's gonna, right, I said I was gonna do more than this, but I'm not capable, I don't think. So like, it's like now my back's hurting. My back's already hurting now. I took vitamin D today, so one of my super vitamin Ds. Hopefully it'll, I don't know, no, it'll take a while. Probably, I think I'm looking at a month, if not a bit longer, for it to go back to normal, apparently. So, you never know then, I might not have all these eye bags under my eyes, but I actually quite like them, they're kind of part of my look. So I don't know what I'll be without them, if they go away. So yeah, I'm still looking to a few months of recovery, I think. Sorry, a month or so of recovery, I think. But I feel really grateful that's what it is, and it's a fairly simple answer, because so many people out there are dealing with illnesses where they don't know what's going on, or if they do know what's going on but they have no support, nobody cares. They are paying awful amounts of money for treatment. It's just, yeah, the world is just unfair. I feel like people often are like, don't be a teenager, but it's true. I think the world is so painfully unfair to people. And I just hope we can try and make it a bit less horrible for each other. I feel like I always end up sounding so bleak, and I apologise for that, but I think I'm always, my ethos is like, I just like things to be said as they are. I don't know. There we go, everyone. That's the back cover. So this needs to have time to dry now, I think. Oh, damn it, I didn't really check I meant to check the grain again. Although it's really hard to take. I feel like it's really hard. I feel like paper like this is thin enough, it won't massively affect it. I will check the watercolour paper that I put in between, because I think that will have a bigger issue if I do the grain wrong. So I think I'm going to put this in between some heavy books. Goodness knows if what I said here today made any sense. But let me know your thoughts. If you like videos like this more, let me know. I'm always a bit scared when I'm kind of really talking and I don't know what I'm fully saying until after, but yeah. I don't think I've really made any kind of point or made any kind of grand revelation, but I just wanted to chat really and check in and yeah, so try to be patient with my physical health, and I'm going to try and keep going out for walks and doing more stuff like that. And hopefully bring you more videos, because that's the thing I try and do, to put some good stuff into this world from my homebody life. You know, from this little room, which I'm in a lot of the day. I like to tell stories and, you know, bring comfort to people. from my little room to yours. So that sounded a bit cheesy, didn't it? I don't know if I like that. But yeah. Hope to see you next time. Let me know any videos you'd like to see, topics you'd love me to talk about, anything like that. Always so appreciate it. Genuinely so appreciate it, because it really helps me. Thanks so much. Goodbye.